So our next topic is about Coleen Rooney and the fact that she obviously got her children to visit her on I'm a Celeb, 0207 862 2222. She actually left the Australian bush last night as runner-up and she had a good time. I think she came over really well. She ran into the arms of her children. Prior to the final, viewers saw her surprised by 8-year-old Kit and 6-year-old Cass, her youngest sons, with the football icon Wayne Rooney, as well as her mum Colette, who's in camp as well. Let's have a look.
Ew, she stinks.
Oh, I've missed you so much.
Is that nice? But Coleen has faced criticism from MPs for reportedly taking the children down under for almost 2 weeks. She previously said her kids would have to bring their schoolwork if they wanted to visit her. The Shadow Education Minister, Neil O'Brien, said her bad example was the last thing schools need right now. Labour MP Alex Sobel said there could be no exemptions for the rich and famous. What do you think, Susie?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. This story just annoyed me so much. I think, what does this show? This shows that she's a mum who loves her kids and missed her kids. It shows that she's human and she wanted to see them, A. B, in a kind of bigger picture thing, moving away from that, like my parents took us out of school to go on holidays, sometimes because they couldn't afford to take us away, which is a big problem for people from poorer backgrounds, because you've got these aeroplane companies that hike up the prices, you know, which is actually disgusting. And so I just feel like, you know, and actually the main causal reason of absences is not holidays, it's sickness, and a lot of it's linked to mental health. So I don't think this is a big thing, and I think both these MPs that have said this, I just think, leave her alone, she wanted to see her kids.
Mike Parry.
Well, I feel like a real traitor because everybody knows my devotion to Wayne Rooney, the footballer, which I've already shown. But I'm very uneasy about two things. Firstly, I don't think children should be on the set of I'm a Celebrity. You know, when one of her kids ran up and said, "Oh, Mummy, you stink," and all that. I think it's a very, very adult sort of environment, and I don't. It's a bit like sometimes kids running around in a bar or a restaurant. You know what I mean? I don't think kids should be there. I don't think they need to be away for 2 weeks. If they wanted to be the highlight of the show, it could have been less than 2 weeks. Children had a terrible time missing school over the last 2 or 3 years because of COVID and lockdown. But please let me stress, I have huge admiration for Coleen Rooney. She's the chatelaine of a £20 million house. She's bringing up 4 boys who are the sons of Wayne Rooney, one of the most famous footballers in the world. She does a hell of a good job. She took on people who tried to attack her, excuse me, in the High Court and won.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I think she's a wonderful woman. I just think this was ill-judged.
Yeah, OK. Shelley in Newcastle, where are you on this? Should she have taken her kids out of school?
I've got a couple of things. One, this time of year, I've had kids at school that do nothing. They do learning activity plays, making cards, blah, blah, blah. She said a mum on telly this morning was doing work out there with them. And why is nobody criticising Danny, who won? His 6-year-old was out of school and in the jungle. But I'm not hearing criticism for him. It's all on Coleen. And I don't see what the problem is. There's plenty of other people had their kids taken out of school when they've been in the jungle and there's not been a criticism. It just seems to be because it's Coleen Rooney and that everybody's having a pile-in because it's her. And I'm not sure if the kids go to private school anyway. So we don't know. It's up to her.
Leave out the fact that it's her. It's not right, is it, to take your children out of school, no matter what Susie says, because you fancy a holiday?
It's not. Well, it wasn't just because they're holiday. Let's say they do nothing at this time of year.
Doesn't matter.
They're doing activity plays. Well, it does. It's up to her. It's her family.
The school can't function.
It's her family.
If you're 10% down every day with people going, that's true, isn't it, Susie? The school can't function like that.
I just think I just don't agree. I'm sorry. I've worked in education on and off for 20 years. And actually, one of the big problems in our education system is we don't have enough prayer maybe, but play. We don't have enough, you know, like trips and experiences and residentials. I took kids
about work.
Well, no, it's not just about work.
Supposing her kids were in the nativity play.
Creativity, and actually one of the things we're great for as a country kids' creativity. You know, all those things, it's really important. And actually, private schools do the 2 hours of extracurricular at the end of the day, which state schools don't get, because obviously they just don't have the money for it. I'm sorry, the big problem with absenteeism, which is what causes the problems in schools, is linked to illness. Less than 10% of absenteeism is linked to holidays. And I'm coming back to the point.
You don't want to add to the problem, though, do you?
Well,
precisely. You can't help illness.
Listen, three of my family, of us kids, we all went to Cambridge. My mum and dad took us out of school. We visited Greece, we visited Athens. It was a great cultural experience. My dad used to take us to the trenches. We had all this stuff, and I'm so grateful to my dad. And you know what? There are things you cannot learn in a classroom or from a textbook.
Good point.
But what did they learn there? I mean, really, what
Their
did they learn?
mummy loves them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is probably the most fundamental thing to learn.
Exactly,
You'll
but
see Australia as well, Mike, and that's quite a thing. You know,
but they
they've got
wouldn't see
stuff
much
over
of
there.
Australia because they went to the set of that particular show and now they're coming home. So, I mean, they didn't learn anything. They know their mother loves them. She's a magnificent mother bringing up 4 boys, you know.
And it's a long time away from your
and Wayne
children.
Rooney. And I just think it was ill-judged.
OK, thank you, Shelley. Sue is in Portsmouth. Hi, Sue.
Oh, hello.
What do you think when you saw them on TV with their mum?
Well, to be honest, I didn't think anything. I find it, quite surprising that this topic even gets discussed. I do agree with the previous caller about this particular instance and the fact that why was she picked on. She didn't take out the older children for whom it would have been perhaps more significant. And indeed, this time of the year, they would not have been doing that much intellectually, shall I say, as opposed to educationally.
Yeah.
The bigger question of absenteeism, that's a total different discussion. But picking on one person and making that part of that bigger discussion isn't fair.
Well, she's very famous, and therefore it's perfectly fair, isn't it? Because it draws
Sets an
focus,
example.
it draws attention to something
Yeah, but-
that may be right or
But
wrong.
it does. But this is a specific incident that wouldn't be applied to the majority of people.
Well, but it is applied though because the government keeps having this thing about fining. And this is the last government. We're going to fine you for taking your kids out early. You're going to be fined every day. So it does apply.
Well, I agree. I agree with that whole business about absenteeism.
Do you?
I was a school governor for many years, and I do agree with the bigger issue. I just feel that using this to illustrate that point is rather petty.
OK, point taken, Sue. I guess it's the way our minds work a little bit, is we focus on something because somebody famous does it, you know.
Yeah.
Mike in West Lanarkshire, hi.
Hello, good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
Well, I mean, everyone's saying that Coleen Rooney's got every right to do this.
Well, I was a governor locally in a primary school for 6 years, and the head teacher actually astonished me when he said that statistically, over the whole of Europe with education, 80% of a human's being development, speech, vocabulary, intelligence happens outside of school with their family, with their peers, with their parents.
Interesting.
So, if you take your kids away on a summer holiday for 2 weeks and you're interactive with them, they'll get more education with you than they would do in school.
Well, why don't
If
we?
you throw them
Well,
in the
let's just
bedroom-
close all schools.
Yeah,
let's
exactly,
close schools
exactly,
completely then.
exactly. I
Because
don't believe
if
that.
all this money is going towards 20%, it's not worth it.
No.
Is it?
I think it's a balance, isn't it? Look, we know that, there are certain subjects like maths, like science, you're not going to learn them on a family holiday in Greece. You need to go to school to learn those things, and that's important. But the fact is, having good time with your family, being able to go abroad, being able to see different cultures.
But they get
these
weeks
things-
and weeks of that.
No,
They get weeks
Mike,
and
we
weeks
know
and weeks of
that
that. They don't
travel
need another
companies
2.
hike up the cost. And a whole lot of the watchers today, lots of them won't be able to afford to take their kids away. And
But
I
if
think that is
everybody
so
copped out,
sad.
you'd have to close down schools
No,
during
that's-
term time.
but
You
that's-
would. You just have to put up with the fact that prices go up in the summer. It's supply and demand.
No, I think, look, that's an extreme example. The fact is parents would be taking their kids out of school for holidays for the best part of 30 years, and the schools are still OK. But what I wouldn't say, listen, I'm not sending a message saying everyone should just take their kids on holiday. That's not what I'm saying. But I do find I think it's unfair that private school kids get these longer holidays so their parents can take them off, and they don't pay the
Oh, that's
4,000, £500 more.
But Susie, do you think it's justified, having seen the very small amount of time that the kids were in the show, Ronnie Earn, hello mummy, how are you, and all that, do you really think that justified 2 weeks of their life?
I'm going to be honest with you, I almost cried at that moment, because it just made me think of my son if I hadn't seen him for a whole month.
Yeah.
Genuinely almost cried.
Well,
But
also
anyway,
they played the music
but do you
as
think it was
well.
justified, 2 weeks for that one moment of TV?
yeah, I think they'll probably remember it for the rest of their life. They've got to see their mummy.
Well, they've got a lot to remember because their father's Wayne Rooney
And I doubt
their mum's Coleen.
I doubt at all it will affect their GCSE grades, their A-levels or their degree. Do you know what I
Where
mean?
is Wayne, by the way? Where's he in all this?
He's at home with the other 2 children.
He's back in Britain.
He's battling down in Plymouth to try and save his job as manager of Plymouth Argyle.
Oh, okay.
So he's pretty busy.
Yeah, he's busy.
Yeah.
Linda in Devon, what do you think of this difficult issue?
Well, I just think it's all a fuss about nothing. I think it's perfectly okay for these children to go out to Australia and the experience they'll get from that. They see their mum. Lots of children are taken out of school through holidays and non-holidays with permission. Yeah. It's an education for them. They can go back and write about it.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed, and I don't know whether it's something in the water or it's another storm coming or something. But everyone is saying the same thing here, which is A, it doesn't matter. It's very odd to ring up to say it doesn't matter, and then B, Linda, that everyone's got the right to do it. So I guess we could have year-round holidays. I'm
not saying everybody's got the right to do it. If you've got an opportunity in life to do something like this, why not take
they will have lots of opportunities.
That's even harder.
Children.
Yeah. So you can only do it if you've got a famous mum, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, but this is the inequality, how it happens. This is how society collapses.
I'm just saying, if we look at the stats will show this, that kids that go to private schools, their parents get to take them out and the hikes haven't gone up. And then all the kids that go to state school that are from the poor communities, well, they ain't getting no holiday because the prices have gone up.
Yeah,
and what I'm saying is, we're not sending a message of everyone should take their kids on holiday whenever they want. Yeah. But once or twice in maybe their secondary school time over 5 years, if parents have to do that, if that's the only way they're going to get to go on holiday...
But bear in mind, what you're describing here is the way a market works, because 93% of kids go to state schools, and therefore it'll be when they have their holidays that the companies jack up the prices because there are just more of them. So there will never be a way around that. Yeah.
And private schools tend to have longer holidays anyway. So
I'm just saying, but for me, there's an unfairness in
it. There certainly is. And this comes down to the travel companies doing what they do. Yeah. And I guess you wouldn't stop them, would you?
No, of course I wouldn't.
Just have some sort of law that says you've got to charge people more in the winter.
Put a price cap on holidays. The thing is, more people want the holidays than holidays are available. Therefore, the price will go up. It's market economics.
I mean,
we've got Pamela in Essex. Hi, Pamela.
Hi.
Don't tell me you think she's within her rights and her children don't need to go to school.
No, I don't think anybody should take children out of school during term time.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
The arrival of Pamela has turned things around.
Absolutely.
Tell Susie why she disagrees.
The reason being that teachers and school staff don't have the option of taking their children out of school during term time.
Yep. Are you a teacher yourself, Pamela?
No.
Okay. But you've sensed an unfairness there.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely.
So that is a good. I hadn't thought of that as part of the argument. But then everyone's been saying, look, Coleen loves her kids, and as Susie says, they learn a lot from visiting the jungle.
I don't think they do.
We all love our kids, but teachers have a job to do, and they cannot do that job if half a dozen children are missing one day, 4 children are missing another day,
totally agree.
And they have to catch up with all the work.
I'll let Susie reply.
Yeah, do you know what? I absolutely agree with you, Linda. But the biggest thing that hits. I mean, I've worked in schools, and I've worked in schools with kids with mental health needs. The biggest thing that hits absenteeism in schools is not people taking their kids on holiday. It is, in fact, illness, and a lot of it is related to mental illness and issues.
But then you're adding to the problem.
So if we want to solve this problem, which is 90% of the problem is down to illness, then actually what we need to look at is school counselling, and we need to look at support for kids that are struggling, whether it's with bullying or things at home. That's what we need to look at, not like slapping the wrists of the 10% that take their kids on holiday.
No, I think education is far more important than going on holiday.
What if holiday is education?
Thanks, Paolo, very much indeed. Later, it's the papers. I love that. That's a great thought. Holiday is education, and you're going to say no to that.
It's not. Holiday is having a laugh and a shout with your mum and dad and not getting yourself into your books, which is the purpose of your education.
But education isn't just about the books. Education is about the world around us.
Later, it's the papers.